Okay, be honest. You just made a snap judgment about me. My hat, the vibe, and probably now my accent. But the thing is, this is exactly what brands are experiencing online with their customers every single day. Website. I can't see the notes. Yeah, oh, cool, thanks. I need my speech, I'm sorry, guys. Truth and honesty. So every single day, customers are there on your website, and they don't wait for the full funnel. They don't wait for your campaign to deliver all of its metrics and assets. They don't read the fine print, but they make a snap decision on you exactly how they feel when they first go to your website. And in less than a second, they decide, can I trust you or not? And nowhere is that judgment more ruthless than around data, privacy, consent, transparency. All these beautifully boring words that we've resignated to the legal department, never to be seen again. But if we don't fix that, we're not just losing conversions, we're losing trust. And as Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff once said, trust is the it's the currency of the digital world. But let me tell you a little secret about me. I never studied marketing. I actually studied architecture, then photography, and then journalism. And in journalism, you have to earn people's trust straight away. You're on a deadline, you're on the street, you don't have any fancy pitch decks or an ABM strategy, and you need to have someone open up to you straight away. So what do you do if they don't trust you? They won't talk to you. Now, I've paraphrased George Orwell a little bit here, but that's the difference between journalism and marketing. In journalism, truth and transparency and trust comes first, or you get nothing. But in marketing, unfortunately, somehow we've seemed to have made it optional. We treat it like a campaign goal, a nice to have, something that we can message our way through, but unfortunately, this is the hard pill to swallow. You can't fake trust. People see it straight away, and you definitely can't buy it. So let's talk some facts. Marketers are currently facing a trust crisis. Consent rates are down. Trust in brands is crumbling, especially in the UK. We recently did a survey of 10,000 people across the EU, UK, and US in our State of Digital Trust Report. It's actually released today, so I can share a copy with you later. But we found that only 56% of Brits will actually understand what they're agreeing to when they click on the cookie banner. And only 47% of consumers rejected cookies in the past 6 months to protect their personal data. And why is that? It's because people are learning, and AI and big tech are helping us with us. They are more aware of how their data and information about them is being shared and used. And now they actually feel like they are the product. 62% of them said that to us. And so they're seeing this disconnect about what we say about privacy and what we actually do. So it's time to get a little bit real, because most of our consent journeys, when we're asking for data from our customers, are actually a bit of a joke. We slap on a cookie banner on a website, we call it compliant, and then we move on. But consumers don't want basic compliance. In fact, 44% of them will say that data transparency is the primary driver for brand trust. 44%. That's over half your customers. People want clarity. They want connection. They want to feel like you understand them and that you respect their choices. According to the Edelman Trust Barometer, trust is even more important than price and quality. And 81% of customers think so. And the thing is, we're not losing trust just because we're breaking the law. It's not about compliance. We're losing it because we're being vague and, frankly, a little bit sneaky. 67% of customers would hand over their data if they understood how it's being used. 85% say that knowing a company's privacy policy before making purchase is actually important. And 53% of people making online purchases make sure that companies are known for protecting user data before they make that purchase. This is not anything we're just dreaming up. This is actually what they've told us in a large scale. So we need to respect those rights. So, my challenge to you, what if we stopped treating data privacy and consent like a speed bump and started designing it like a brand experience? First impressions don't just happen on your homepage or your ad campaign. They happen the moment you ask for someone's data. So let's make that first moment count. What does that mean? Well, first off, get rid of the pop-ups that hijack the screen. Get rid of the toggles that are so confusing that you practically need a PhD to understand them. Change out the manage preferences settings that also feel like you're playing Russian roulette. And instead, let's start designing for trust. So how do we do that? How do you build trust in an online world? It's with very simple things like clear, respectful language, giving choices that make sense, offering a feeling of being seen, not surveilled. Because the truth is, trust isn't just a tagline, it's an actual holistic experience. It's something you can build for and actually bring in to the user journey. These small changes might seem insignificant to you. I know they did when I first started in this industry. I thought, okay, what does the language really matter? But when we analyze it across consent banners, and this is something we've borrowed from one of our partners, by adding a brand logo, you can actually get 5% more consented data from your customers. You can also highlight benefits and gain another 12%. If your banners don't block other websites or the use of the website, you can get another 5% of consented data. And if you add a language option or the ability to change it, it can yield another 3%. And it's not just consent banners. Obviously, that's where our business is. But every touch point in your customer journey is a chance to build trust. And that comes through incremental choice and respect for privacy. So why not use experimental tagging models like contextual consent to ask your customer how they feel things should be done, how the website could be personalized to their experience. Think about collecting first and zero-party data. Because the vast majority of consumers will actually provide you data if they know what you're going to do with it. So, personalized shopping, of course. You know, I want that just as much as anyone else does, but if you use my data, ask me how you want to use it. Show me what's going to happen with it. You know, you can see that fashion retailers are very much onto this. They've implemented contextual consent, you know, across the shopping experience, and it has shown that it's increased in trust and revenue across the board. But why not join them? It doesn't have to just be related to e-commerce. So, 63% of consumers would say that they buy new products from brands that they trust, even if they're more expensive, because the trust actually yields real results. Over half would stay loyal to a company, even if you make a mistake, if they trust you. That is the power of trust, and that's why we're trying to promote it. So, while AI is new and shiny and everywhere, the real reality of AI is that people don't trust it yet, and how it's using their data needs to be scrutinized. So, don't make AI your sole conversion strategy. I've been in a procurement process recently, and all of the tools that I've gone forward with have all shouted out about their AI capabilities and what they can do for me to improve, you know, my output and, you know, the creative process and everything else. But as soon as I send their tools to our legal department, they cannot answer where they're taking the data, where they're storing it, who they're sharing it with, and we can't continue the conversation because we take data privacy seriously. So we have an amazing legal team. But what are you guys going to do? How do you know how that data is being used and shared from your customers to these AI tools? So, how do we get out of this? First step is obviously with your website. Build a trust at first sight experience with a consent management that allows you to do that. Be aware that there are also many popular monitoring tools that allow consumers to go and check how are you using their data, where have you shared it, where have you stored it. They will fact check you and they will stop coming to your brand if you're not respecting their rights. Tracking someone without consent is not just illegal, but it also destroys all the trust that you've built up with a customer at every other touch point in the journey. So, where do we go from here? We know from our research that trust isn't dying. We're just making it too hard to find and build. At Usercentrics, we believe that we will win in an AI-first world by taking the charge with privacy-led marketing. We have seen firsthand the shift in consumer behaviour and in how they respond to their data being used and stored. And we can see that it's not just a compliance-only checkbox. It is actually a competitive advantage for brands to build trust and bring their users along on that journey. People want transparency, they want security, they want consented digital journeys that feel more like a handshake than a hostage situation. Quick wrap up. So, you have a choice, marketers. You can keep ticking the tick boxes on the compliance-only journey, or you can build a brand that people actually want to trust by asking the right questions at the right time. Fix your banners, only collect the data that you need, make it consensual, and focus on building real and trusted relationships with your customers. And, sorry guys, for the love of marketing, I was going to have a t-shirt gun, but boo. For the love of marketing and MadFest, be less boring. And you can grab our report right here. Thank you.